What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Respectfully. I'm your host, Cam Farmer. And today, I have a very special guest with me in the building. Well, not really in the building. You guys, it's a figure of speech. But I have a good friend of mine since I've known since the fourth grade, Miss Yamani Floyd. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. I am excited that you're here. Um, Brought you on because I wanted to, expand, the horizons. I know you were involved in cheerleading. You are involved in were you involved in CrossFit as well at one point?
Um, Not really CrossFit. We kind of just use the gym
Sure.
sometimes,
Okay.
but
Sure. Okay. Yeah, gym head, Uh but also just like your discipline and your consistency and your motivation. But we're gonna get to all of that. But I just wanna do a quick shout out. And I know I told you this before we recorded. Congratulations on graduating. I finally get to tell you that like face to face. Like congratulations on graduating. Because you got your
thank
bachelor's degree
you.
in interior design, right?
Yes, I did.
HGTV incoming. Stop playing.
I wish,
So
yes.
hey, listen. It could happen. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, no, I wanted to kind of just gain what you've been up to since graduating. What's it been like? Pursuing that dream and working in interior design. I've seen it on your story a few times where you have like a little, I don't know, like a little drawing or
hmm
yeah. I ain't gonna lie, that's chef's kiss right there. I don't know how you do it. I just
No,
draw stick
thank you.
figures. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, how's everything been going? How's your mom? How's everybody? How's yeah, just how's life been post grad for you?
It's been really good. So I did graduate in December. Um, I kind of moved out of my parents' house, got my own place, started working. So I'm a junior interior designer for Merit, and they kind of do kitchen and bath design for residential and commercial, and they also do flooring. But they're trying to expand their horizon, kind of, and like just go into more of the design aspect of new builds and things like that.
Awesome. Yeah. So like what it kind of talk about what merit is like what's your typical like what's your daily routine like going into work and things of that nature.
Um, so usually work starts at 9 o'clock. I kind of get there around 8:50 ish, and I work with a senior interior designer. So we kind of just sit down, check our emails, figure out what we need to follow up on and who we need to catch up with, things like that. And then we may start writing down the things we need to do for the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
That's
pretty
awesome.
much.
That's
hmm
dope. So like what got you into interior design? If I remember correctly, God, this was years ago, but in the fourth grade, it was my first year at Martinez Elementary. And I remember you had this rolling book bag. It was red, black, and white. I know I was cursed with knowledge. I don't know why I remember this,
Yes,
but
because why do you remember that?
nah, like I don't know, man. I was just like, yo, I was just looking at your bag sometimes, and I'm just like, yo, that's it's a nice little little design that's on the bag. So like,
That's
what
funny.
about interior design got you in, got you into that? Like what? Because I like I said, like your backpack from fourth grade was a rolling book bag, so I ain't gonna lie, like you
Oh my goodness.
know what I mean?
Well, I've always been like kind of artsy and stuff, and my mom was kind of artsy. She can draw really well, and I kind of just took after her. I can draw to an to an extent.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah. When I was younger, I used to rearrange my room and stuff and do a lot of that. So I think that's really what took that off. And then I kind of just did my research on what I could do in that
yeah.
aspect and
Dope.
found out it was interior design and yeah.
Dope. Okay, I see you. So what's what's been your? Because I'm looking in your background. That looks kind of like farmhouse style. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I follow their hashtag on Instagram, so I do love farmhouse. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah. So like, what's a special goal that you have in this industry? I know every industry is competitive, but with interior design, an industry where people have very specific specifications of how they want this done, how they want that done. What's your drive? Like what's something that you hope to gain on this journey and into a leadership position, which I believe you will be in a leadership position at a company. But yeah, so just kind of talk about what your driving factor is in terms of that.
I have been thinking about this a lot lately too,
Yeah,
but right now I'm just trying to, learn the ropes and really just understand what to do and things like that. But eventually, I just hope that, when it comes to clients and stuff, that whatever I design for them, it'll be great and they'll love it. And
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like obviously, with being in interior design, like I'm sure you've thought about what your future house like would look like. Like is
Yeah.
do you do you like do you have a favorite or not a favorite? Like what's kind of your dream home? What's is it like a Barbie dream house, Malibu type of thing or like like what's that dream house that what does your dream house look like for you?
Um, I would say something modern, not, too big.
Okay.
Um, and I really just want to be able to like incorporate things that I want to be in there. Say for instance, in the laundry room, maybe have a dog washing station in there. Yeah, and just incorporate like little things like that. So,
Respect. Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Awesome. A dog washing room. You said.
mhm.
Okay. Because you and your dog are
Yeah.
like y'all are best friends, so
Yes,
y'all are
we're
like
best
that.
friends.
So,
Yes.
but yeah, that's good. So like, have you um with interior design, like what stores, I guess chain stores or what other websites, it could be Pinterest for all I care, like what's been your inspiration to you know achieving what your clients dream of? Like do you go on Pinterest or do you go to Google? I mean obviously Google, but like
Mhm.
different like Target. Like I'm gonna be real, I go to Target.
Yeah. Target.
I like
I
Target.
love
You know what I
Target.
mean? Yeah. So
Mhm.
like what's been your inspiration into helping your clients get what they dream of?
So I do love Pinterest. Pinterest is my go-to. I
Yeah.
use Pinterest, I use House, and whatever style they're looking for, I might just type that in there and they'll show me some inspiration. And then we also have like some websites that we use sometimes that we may buy furniture and stuff from,
Sure.
and that really helps sometimes where you can like put the style into the search and it'll give you options like that.
Dope. Okay. Yeah. Cause I want to be honest with you. I do have Pinterest as well, and I have a Pinterest board. So I kind of just I like to expand my horizons. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
so yeah, no, that's really good. So I guess some of my last questions in regards to your career as an interior designer. Um, how much work goes into that? I know a lot of people just see, for example, HGTV, excuse me, Fixer Upper, right? I know a lot of people just see, these hosts, these TV hosts, and they're helping these clients get their dream home. But
Mhm.
as somebody who's literally doing, in a way, what they're doing, like what goes into all of that? Because I know an insane amount of planning has to go into all that.
Yes, an insane amount of planning. Where do I even start? Um, it is a lot, seriously.
Yeah,
Um, going back to inspiration, we might start out with a few inspiration boards and then, type up a contract that tells you everything we're going to be doing. And
right,
it is definitely like a lot of people that go into it as well. So, you got contractors, general contractors, you got people to repair the sheetrock, do the demolitions, like rip out the stuff, and you got your tile people to lay down the tile and do the flooring,
right.
and just things like that. There's so
Yeah.
much that goes into it.
I'm glad you said that, because I used to think that, like, yo, this is easy. Like, anybody can do this. All you got to do, learn how to speak well, learn how to connect with people, and then get you a camera crew. Go to the intern at whoever their
Mhm.
HGTV is under, and be like, hey man, I'd like to help people get their dream home. But you got to have, like, literally an idea of
Mhm.
who was involved in this process.
Right.
So
Mhm.
that's pretty cool to think about. So, like, have you ever been to any sites, where you help people with those dream homes, or is it just, like, strictly, like, interior, like you're help planning with the tiles, the counters, like how those are going to look like?
Um, I guess it really depends, but mostly interior. Um, I've been doing.
Cool.
So like tile and flooring, like you said. We may do drawings of cabinets and stuff, how your bathroom might look,
Yeah,
and yeah.
that's dope. Okay. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I guess my last question before we shift gears is, you're a graduate of Georgia Southern,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna be real. I don't like Georgia Southern. Never liked them at all. I'm gonna be real.
That's okay.
I I went to Statesboro back in
Mhm.
March, and of course, Statesboro is extremely small and pollinated during that time, and I got
Right.
sick, and I never looked at Georgia Southern the same again. But I do know that they have a great school, which is why you stayed there, for your cheerleading career, which we'll get into that in a few minutes.
Mhm.
What has Georgia Southern school and community, uh, what role has it played, into your success, being a junior interior designer, and your, excuse me, your aspirations to be, higher on that ladder. So, like, what has Georgia Southern, the role that it's played, what has it done for you, and your family?
Well, Georgia Southern, they do have a really great interior design program.
Sure.
And it's not only like an arts degree, I think it's counted in the science
Mm,
department. So it's like a
okay.
social science, which is very different from other interior design programs.
Right.
But, they were just really good at teaching us everything we needed to know and
Cool.
showing us the process,
That's good.
just the ropes.
That's good. No, I
Yeah.
understand. I will. This will be the only time I clap for Georgia Southern, because they did you well. Did you well for real. That's Honestly, like that, because I'm gonna be real. Like I said, like I'm never going back to Statesboro again. But I'm happy to know that Georgia Southern really, plays a role, in your aspirations, in your career, things of that nature. And I'm not saying, and I was just saying that to be funny, by the way. I do know
Same.
it's a good school, but Statesboro, nah, I'm good with that. But shifting gears, cheerleading. I have a newfound respect for cheerleaders because so much goes into that not a lot of people know, what
Right.
goes into it. They just see the flips and they see the cheers and the no, the camaraderie of the sort, but so
Mhm.
much goes into that. And this kind of, plays into a part of your fitness regimen. How much, for people that don't know, how much does exercise and fitness go into cheerleading?
It plays a big role, especially cardio, because when you compete, you have to do a 2 minute and 30 second routine,
Right.
and a lot of cardio goes into that. You're jumping, tumbling, stunting, doing motions, moving around the floor. Yeah, it's a lot of cardio. And then on top of that, lifting weights, building muscles. When you're stunting, you got to lift other girls up, you know.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
because in Augusta, did you go to the? It was that tumbling academy that was like right up the street from Target. I
Yes,
don't,
ACA, Augusta Cheer
ACA.
Academy. Mhm.
Yeah. Did you go there?
Yeah, I did for a little while. I did all-star cheer there and tumbling classes.
Okay, cool. Did you also do cheer sport or
I
no?
went to cheer sport.
Okay. Okay, got you.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense because my cousin, she did competitive cheer, and
Mhm.
I'm not gonna hold you, bro. I y'all got that on lock. I would just stick my feet on the ground, like so.
Yes.
So like, how does cheerleading? Because I feel like with any sport, there are a lot of intangibles that go in it: leadership, discipline,
Mhm.
teamwork, all of the whole nine. How much does cheerleading play a part into who Yamani is? Like, how does it shape your personality, your kindness to people, because I'm gonna be real, I was one of those people that I annoyed you growing up, and I'm totally cool with that.
Oh my
But
goodness.
you were very kind in telling me, Cam, shut up, like you just looked at
I don't
me.
think I've ever told you to shut up.
I beg to differ, but
Oh my
how
goodness.
how does cheerleading play a part into the intangibles and the tangibles, the things that we see and things that we don't see? Like, how does that sport play a part into who you are?
That is a great question. Um, no, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. No, no, no. I was just proud of myself. I just wanted to ask you
Yeah,
one good
that one
question.
stumped me.
I, nah, take your time. Take your time. You're good.
Um, just I guess just meeting all kind of different people, your teammates and stuff. How you have to come together as a team and, work together. And, that just makes you like kind of figure out who you are and like who your teammates are and what you can do differently and
Right.
stuff like that.
Because I know, kind of bringing this back around to interior design, you working
Mhm.
with the team, and cheerleading, how you have to lift people up. I have a whole respect for y'all in doing that, because it's like, yo, like y'all are literally holding this person up, like any given moment they could fall down. But
Right.
you how how has the teamwork and cheerleading kind of, made its way into your career as an interior designer? Sometimes you may have to keep people up if they're
Mhm.
not if they're not pulling their weight,
Right.
things of that nature. Like, how has that factored into your career as an interior designer?
No, you are definitely right. you know, working with the team. I mean, it's part of life,
Right.
sports, work. So like with work, you got to work with different people. Sometimes you might not always like that person, but you got to push through to get the project done or whatever it may be,
Right.
and just be kind and patient and
Yeah. Very true.
yeah,
Very
and
true.
understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you were a cheerleader. Well, let me before I ask you that. What was your history as a cheerleader? Because I know you did it. In Did you do it in middle school,
I didn't.
Evans? Oh wow,
Okay.
really?
Yeah, so funny story. So I actually started in gymnastics. I
Okay.
did gymnastics from the time I was 8 to maybe 12. I did competitive gymnastics. I started when I was 9. I got invited to team and I did levels 3, 4, and I was on my way to 5, and I had surgery, and I decided, that wasn't something I wanted to do anymore, but I wanted to try something new. So I that's when I started going to ACA. I tried out for their competition team. I think it was a senior level 3 team. So I started doing that, started doing cheer. But I did how long did I do all-star cheer? I did all-star cheer until I got to high school. So in middle school, I did try out for the cheer team in middle school. I did not make it.
What?
Yeah. Which is hilarious. And
Oh,
I just kind of didn't try out again until high school. I continued all-star cheer until then, and then when I got to high school, my parents kind of made me choose between all-star cheer and high school cheer and competition. So I chose high school competition cheer, and yeah.
Miss Colley ain't wanna. She ain't wanna. You know, like you weren't on the team. Like you got cut. She didn't want to make you on the team. Like, bro, what? Because
No.
honestly, like it is. I don't know. That's because I thought like, yo, you were. In all honesty, Yamani, like you are one of the strongest. Like, no pun intended. You are one of the strongest people I know. So it's like, yo, Miss Colley, what you doing? Like, hello. So
Yeah.
what? So what was kind of going back? I hate to ask this question, but what did that fuel? Like, did that fuel you into pursuing cheer even more? Like, okay, I got cut. I didn't make the team, but now y'all really gonna film me, and I'm gonna show y'all who I am. Like, you went like you are versatile. Not every people who do cheerleading, they can't do gymnastics. So
Mhm.
it's like, yo, like, so what was that? What was that reaction like when you found out that you didn't get cut, or I'm sorry, that you didn't make the team?
Um, it was sad at first, but it wasn't really a big deal. That was my first time. That would have been my first time doing like school cheer, and
Right.
school cheer is very different from competing and all-star cheer and stuff like that. So it wasn't really like they didn't do a lot of tumbling and stunting. It was more of like the cheering aspect.
Yeah.
And me personally, doing gymnastics, tumbling was my thing. That's my favorite part. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
it just
I got
wasn't
you.
really a big deal.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what? So when you got to high school and you made the cheer team,
Mhm.
was there? Because I know you said it. The actual school cheer is different than the comp cheer.
Mhm.
When you got to high school, was there was high school cheer a little bit the same as comp cheer, or was it just a little bit? It was still a little bit different than comp cheer.
Yeah. So I tried out my ninth grade year, my freshman year in high school. I was There was only two people that were freshmen that made varsity that year. Me and Charlie. You remember
Charlie
Charlie?
Jackson?
Yes, me and Charlie.
Oh, that's dope.
Yes. Yeah, so we made varsity cheerleading, and they had varsity football and then varsity competition, which
Mm,
were like the same thing. And then they had JV football, and then JV didn't compete. So with varsity football, it was kind of the same as, I guess, regular school cheer, but
sure.
competition would have been more like the all star, and that was what I really liked.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
dope. That's dope. So now we get and we were in middle school, you didn't make the team, and
Hmm.
then get to high school, you are one of two freshmen to make the varsity team. Like how proud of you, um were you, like how proud of yourself were you when you made the varsity team? Because not it's really rare to see a freshman play varsity outside of football. So like
Right.
how proud are you? And if you told your mom, like what was her reaction like?
She was very excited. Of course, being one of the two freshmen and being on varsity my freshman year.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun, and she was very excited.
that's good. That's really good.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So now we're at high school, and so we make our way through. And you competed in high school all 4 years, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. Now we get to the good stuff. We get to Georgia Southern.
Hmm.
Um, knowing that just kind of talk about collegiate cheer. Like it was there any similarities to high school? What were the major differences? Like kind of talk about your experiences, being, a collegiate athlete, so to
Hmm.
speak, and cheerleading at Georgia Southern. Like what was that like?
Collegiate cheering is very cutthroat, I would say. um, as far as that's really where like you start working out more, and like it was very different but similar to high school cheer because you did
Right.
have that competitive aspect, but instead of only doing, cheering for football and doing competitive cheer, you cheer volleyball, you cheer basketball, you cheer football, and then on top of that, you did competitive cheer also. And then, we didn't really work out so much in high school cheer. Like, it was a little bit, but
Yeah.
we really started, working out and doing cardio and like lifting weights in college.
So like when you say lift weights, like did y'all like how the football, basketball players lift? Like was it like that, or was it just like, was it? I don't want to say, I don't want to say not mediocre, but like was it like where like because I mean y'all were collegiate athletes. I mean
Hmm.
cheerleaders in college are collegiate athletes. Like what like when you say like lifting weights, like you mean like y'all had like a whole rack, like y'all had like the plates and everything, or like what was that like?
So my freshman year was the first year that they had actually started what they call Ironworks for us.
Okay.
Um, and we had a strength coach, and we used the plates and bars, and we actually like lift weights. But that was the only year that they did it before COVID, and we weren't really considered athletes,
Yeah.
like the other
Right.
athletes. So they kind of just eventually pushed us out due to COVID. They had to get everyone else back in, and our strength coach had moved, and yeah.
Oh wow, dude. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, dude. That's
No,
that's kind of it's kind of lame.
that's
Um.
okay.
So I'm glad you brought up COVID. I and this kind of like shifts gears to uh, you know, to your fitness regimen now. Uh, how like what I knew you always worked out. You always went to the gym.
Right.
You and your dad were like gym partners, gym buddies.
Mhm.
Um, and now you have your own. I believe you have your own your fitness Instagram where you
Mhm.
post, workout routines. Uh, I gotta shout that out, by the way. I forgot what it was called, bro. I'm so
Um,
sorry.
no, that's okay. It's look, I don't even know myself. I think it's fitness Mani underscore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fitness Money underscore. I
Mhm.
gotta shout that out, bro. So yeah, like, did did the well, first let me ask you this: like, how did you and your teammates on the cheerleading team, how did that make y'all feel that y'all were kind of pushed out? I know COVID, everybody felt like everybody was being pushed out.
Mhm.
But how did it feel for you all to not be? I mean, y'all were cheerleaders, and everybody
Mhm.
just feels like, oh, well, cheerleading's not a sport, and all this. No,
Right.
it
Mhm.
really is a sport. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, what? How did that make you all feel to kind of be cast aside, rather? And I knew you, and of course, y'all came back and things of that nature. But
Mhm.
in that moment, what were the reactions like of you and your teammates? When COVID was starting to ramp up, like just kind of talk from that experience.
Um, it was sad. And that was our first year, ever doing something like that. So it was like, we didn't get to continue to build with it and doing that kind of thing. And
Sure.
that year, our nationals was also canceled. Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was a lot.
Wow.
It was
Y'all won a national championship, didn't you?
Yes, mine last year cheering, we did win nationals. And I was not on the team the year before that, but they did win nationals then too. That was their COVID year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. So basically, like, so let me ask you this: in the high school, did Evans win any awards, or like regional, high school, or national? Like, what?
No. We had regional and state competitions. Those were like
Okay.
our big competitions.
Yeah.
Regionals was like, everybody in the region. You'd go against Lakeside, Greenbrier.
Yeah.
Um, I think the best we've ever done at regionals was like third. And then
Oh,
state, it's a lot of people at state. We've never really, placed well there.
yeah. I got you.
Hmm.
So, and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back to your to the COVID and cheerleading at Georgia Southern.
Hmm.
I gotta ask you a question.
Okay.
You know how in every sport, football and baseball and basketball, there's trash talking, right? Was
Hmm.
there ever trash talk, like, especially in Columbia, where we came from? Evans and the Grove Towns, the Lakeside, all of them, Greenbriers. Everybody trash talk. Did the cheerleaders trash talk? Like, when y'all was at state, or not, I'm sorry, not at state, at regionals, and you had to compete against the Lakesides, the Greenbriers, the Grove Towns. Like, did y'all talk trash? Because I feel like y'all were very, very close. Like, everybody was close. But I'm not in that realm. So, like, what was there ever trash talking, Yamani?
Not that I know of. I mean, to be honest, I feel like everybody else was better than us. So it was just like, wow, like they're so good.
That's valid. That's valid.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know, because I feel like, Yamani, if you ever was in like the right headspace, like, I don't know, if you were like, in terms of cheerleading, like, if you were in the right headspace and somebody started trash talking to you, not gonna lie, I feel like you are an A1 trash talker for real. I'm just, I don't know why.
I don't
Guess
know
it's
why
my
either.
my experience in sixth grade. You
Oh
know,
my gosh.
you just never, honestly, like, Yamani, like, in all honesty, like, you never. I take that back. I don't think you'd be the person to trash talk. I feel like you just give them the death stare, and you've given me a lot of death stares. When we were younger, you would just eat your apple. You were just eating your apple, and we're gonna come back to that too, because you ate a lot of fruit. which contributes to your success in 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 the fitness and things that and cheerleading and stuff like that. We're gonna come back to that. But no, you
Okay.
just look at me, you eat your apple. No, you eat a plum. You eat a plum whole. I don't know how you did that. Respectfully. No pun intended, because you're on the Respectfully podcast. But yeah, so I just wanted to ask that question because that really just came to me. But yeah, no, so in 2020, in I'm sorry, yeah, in COVID, yeah, COVID, and
Mhm.
when y'all were kind of cast aside, what, how, how did you all, or um, how did you manage to, did you still continue to, work out, fitness and all of that? Like, did you continue to, still practice routines like cheerleading routines and things of that nature? Like what was what was going through your head, or what did you do during that entire year of 2020? Things were shut down, unexpected. Days were unexpected. Country was in turmoil. With the BLM movement and all this and all that.
Mhm.
You, Yamani Floyd, what did you do to take your mind off of the things that were happening in this country in 2020? Now that your summer, and typically during your summers, y'all will be practicing, y'all will be working, you would be with your teammates and everything. What did you do? What was that time like for you?
So, my freshman year, when they sent everyone home because of COVID, I told you our competition got canceled. We were actually leaving for our spring break. We had just went full out, preparing for the competition. We were told that competition may have been canceled, but if it's not, we would come back after spring break, go to the competition, compete. Unfortunately, we had to move out, and during our spring break, we weren't allowed to come back. They canceled the competition. So I moved back home, um, and it was different. For summer and working out, my dad's a personal trainer, so he had a few weights around the house. I was still just, I might have gone outside in our backyard or whatever and lifted weights or
Yeah.
ran, stuff like that, just to stay in shape. Eventually we did have tryouts again. They were different, they were virtual. Um, yeah, they were virtual tryouts. We still had to submit workouts and stuff like that. And we didn't get to really meet up until later than we usually did. So, like, probably August, we didn't get to meet up until then. And everybody had to wear masks. We had to be COVID tested every week. Yeah. And it was, it was a lot for me. I actually quit that year. That would have been my sophomore year. Yeah.
Oh
I
wow.
had just um, I had just got into the interior design program. It was my first year, so it was a lot for me. And then on top of that, we had to wear masks. We were in the stands when we had to cheer for football.
Yeah.
COVID tests every week. It was just a lot for me. So
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I understand. So is when you I'm glad you mentioned, your dad was a personal trainer and you
Hmm.
went in the backyard and you picked up weights and things of that nature. I feel like COVID was such a weird time for a lot of us, in particular Black people, because we're so used to doing a whole, especially like our age group, like we're so used to
Hmm.
being outside. I mean, not me though. I stay inside. Where's AC? But you get the idea. But no, like I feel like our mental health, Black African Americans' mental health was of the utmost importance. Things of that nature, and I would began being consistent with my exercises as well. I don't post. I never post my exercises. I did like once. That was like a year ago, but I stopped because it's like, why am I doing this? But
Hmm.
but for you, like in a way, Yamani, like your exercises and your discipline influenced me. And and it was one other person I told that to. But oh no, it was LeBron. I obviously didn't tell him that. But no, like you and I in all honesty, I do believe it was like two other people. You influenced me, and and your discipline influenced
Hmm.
me to, take advantage of this time. Like health is the real wealth, and
Right.
so what, like, did you ever, like your dad's a personal trainer. Would you ever
Hmm.
consider being a personal trainer, as a side hustle type of thing, extra source of income, for you?
I have been asked that question a lot. I don't know. I've thought about it a lot,
Yeah.
For me, I guess I just feel like I want to learn more about, like the dietary side and like the stuff you can actually do to or the science behind like actually losing fat or burning fat and gaining muscle and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
So like, did your dad, like, because obviously as a personal trainer, you have to know how to not only the moving of weights in a certain way, but also the dietary part. Has your dad ever helped you with that? In terms of, if you were ever interested in becoming a personal trainer, like, has your dad ever told you, hey, this is what you need to eat, this is, what you need to drink,
mhm.
how much protein you need, how many calories you need? Like, did your dad ever influence you in that pathway?
Yeah, he has. Cause he's right now he doesn't like eat a lot of meat and stuff like that. Uh, he's kind of maintaining and trying to stay lean and stuff.
Right.
So, but when people do ask me that, how can they build muscle? I have asked him that before, since he's actually certified and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
he has helped
Okay.
a lot.
That's dope. So, now that we're on your the fitness segment of the show,
Hmm.
what got you into fitness, period? I know with cheerleading and gymnastics,
Hmm.
obviously when you go into the collegiate level, there's a lot that's required of you. And obviously, when COVID happened, working out, that
Hmm.
really helped you kind of cope with everything and help you pass time in a way. Because everybody, like, I was indoors, I was never allowed to go out with my friends, my parents, you know. Can I go play basketball with the gang? No. It's a pandemic. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of mad, but I get what you're doing. I appreciate it. But what what got you into fitness? How important is fitness to you? And that's question A. Question B is, how important do you feel fitness should be in the lives of Black women?
Okay. Answering question A. Fitness to me, I feel like it's always have been a part of my life, doing gymnastics, cheering, sports aspect, and working out with my dad. I think I started working out with him after I stopped gymnastics. Sometimes I would just go work out with him, while he was training people. And
Yeah,
yeah, that was,
that's
I
cool.
think it just really gave me a different perspective. Like it was something I like to do for my health, like whether I was stressed, helped out with my emotions, and it just
Yeah,
was something I took on.
that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you? And then the question B, like, how do you feel, um as a Black woman, and now with social media, you see a lot of Black women now posting, workout videos, and that's really good. I really like that, because it's like, you know Black women, and the most disrespected person on this earth, is the Black woman.
Hmm.
And when you all have been labeled, and stereotyped, and had these gender norms placed onto you all,
Right.
you know, you all posting those workout videos and what to eat and how much you should eat, like
Mhm.
that's I like that. That's inspirational to me. How do you feel, um going back to question B, how do you feel that uh what's the common misconception when it comes to working out as a Black woman? Because in on social media, you see everybody posting, I'm lifting gigantic weights. I'm lifting, maxing out on bench press, 225 pounds. But not a lot of
Mhm.
people talk about, it's important to start from the ground up, ground zero, work your
Right.
way up. So how,
Mhm.
as a Black woman, and I'm gonna be real, I feel like if you keep posting your content, like you're just gonna keep inspiring others to keep doing it.
Right.
What's the common misconception to you as a Black woman when it comes to working out and being fit?
Um, I think the most common would be, you know, you work out, start building muscle, you'll look like a man, have muscles like a man. I think that's probably like the common misconception,
Yeah.
honestly.
And I'm gonna be real, like Serena Williams, like kind of comes to my mind,
Mhm.
like if and how I don't know if you've I mean, Serena Williams and things of that
Yes,
nature, and
yes.
and her success and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But has her fitness regimen, her fitness lifestyle, has that in a way influenced you? And if it hasn't, who has been a couple of fitness inspirations to you that help you maintain your discipline, that help you maintain your motivation, that help you maintain your consistency? Like, kind of talk about who's been your inspiration.
Uh, I would say not so much Serena because I don't really
Okay.
watch tennis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I will say, starting from a young age, Gabby Douglas,
yeah.
and now Simone Biles. hmm And
Respect.
then, like recently, I have been watching a lot of, I'm really into Gymshark. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
the clothing brand.
Yes, I'm really into
Yeah,
that. And a few people that I like to watch that are Gymshark athletes are, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but her name's Libby Christensen or something like that. And then
Libby Christensen. Yeah,
hmm and Cranon. They are really inspirational.
I know who that is. I
hmm
just don't know the full name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about them has been a couple has what about them has been inspirations to you?
Um, I feel like they just really inspire you to like be yourself and like really just inspire you to get out there and start, you know, from the bottom or wherever you may be
Yeah.
and work yourself up and
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's dope, man. Like I really, like how you answered that. Because I
Mhm.
do believe that everybody starts from the bottom. And that's not a
Mhm.
bad thing. It's just it
Right.
takes time. It takes time. And I'm trying to I'm trying to get my parents to take their I'm not saying they don't take their health serious, but my dad he'll be 53 in
Mhm.
July, and my mom will be 50 in July 1st.
Mhm.
So, they're comfortable, and they're like, I'm just living, Cam, I'm like, yeah, but I want y'all to be, I don't when y'all get 80, I don't, with all due respect, I don't want to take care of you guys in a nursing home. And
Right.
that's not a bad thing, because
Right.
my dad took care of his grandma, or
Mhm.
I'm sorry, his mother in a nursing home. And I'm not looking
Mhm.
down on anybody who's done that, but
Right.
I I want to go to Germany, where I was born, when I'm 30 years old with my parents, if they're like 80. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, like, mom, this is where I was born at? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. So
Right.
I've been trying to get my parents into that. How how has your dad um or how has your dad been an inspiration to you in term, and I know I asked you who your inspirations were, and
Hmm.
Libby Christensen, Cran, and the Gymshark athletes, but how has your dad like been a dope inspiration to you? Because I feel like what I'm hearing is it started with your dad,
Hmm.
like the whole, your fitness and things of that nature, like it started with him. So how has he been an inspiration to you?
Yeah, so he really is an inspiration to me. He he has been working out for a long time. He had a transplant, a kidney transplant in April of like, I don't even know what year. I want to say 2010, 9 maybe. But yeah, and he has kept up his working out and fitness journey, and the way he pushes other people and the way we push each other when we work out together is
Right.
really
That's really cool.
an
That's really cool.
inspiration.
So with your parents, your mom and your dad, they've been instrumental in your life, like period. I mean, I know you and your mom are like this. Y'all are best friends, and your
Hmm.
dad, your daddy, your daddy's little girl, things of that nature. In a way, like how has your parents, how has your support system, even outside of your parents, it could be your closest friends,
Hmm.
your teammates, things of that nature. How has your support system um helped you realize like, hey man,
You kind
I'm
of
where I'm
broke up there.
oh, I did.
Yeah, a little
I'm sorry.
bit.
Can you
No,
hear
you're
me now?
good.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay, cool, cool, cool. Uh how has your support system uh helped you keep going? How have they kept pushing you? How have they motivated you that look, Yamani, like you're right where you need to be, and we're gonna
Hmm.
be with you every step of the way? Like how has your support system been so helpful to you? Period.
Um, they just try to keep me motivated, help as much as they can, keep reminding me, that I can do anything I put my mind to. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, for the last, because we got a few minutes left. So going back to the fruits, I ain't even gonna hold you, Yamani. I've never seen a person eat a plum whole before. I eat plums. I just eat them diced up. But
Now that's weird because, yes, that's weird.
okay, Yamani. Now this is your show now. How is that weird?
Because why wouldn't you just eat it like an apple?
Why would I
You
do
would
that in the
take the
first place?
time to dice it up. You would rather cut it up and dice it up. I
Yamani, let
think
me ask.
people eat plums whole all the time, I think that's pretty normal. I don't think I've
Yamani,
ever seen anyone eat a plum diced up.
Yamani, let me ask you a question. Okay, and
Okay.
I'm just yes or no. Do you eat pears whole?
Yeah. Yes. Sometimes.
Do you eat pineapples whole?
No, because you literally have to cut it up. You can't eat
No,
the skin of a pineapple.
no, you can eat it whole, Yamani.
You can't eat the skin of a pineapple.
In the
Okay.
last 4 years, I don't know. I've seen some things, man. I've seen, yo, okay, not like that. I was being an idiot, but you get the idea. But no, like what, like just what about plums, man? Like what do you just like plums? Like, do you grow plums?
No. And I probably haven't eaten a plum in forever, honestly. But my mom used to buy plums and I used to eat them. That's just
What? Okay. All right. That's cool. I'm not gonna post this on Instagram, by the way. I just wanted to let you know that this is
Great.
just a little. That was just a question. I just wanted to ask, things of that nature. But
Mhm.
yeah, no. What I guess some of my last questions to you is because I really do appreciate you, man, for being on, because I know like what you do, man. It's not easy, and the work life balance, like it's not easy, man. But
Mhm.
you make it seem effortless, like you really do. But yeah, no, like what is something that you well, let me ask you this: Do you in would you would you like your fitness life? Would you like it to inspire people? Um, in terms of when you post your content, right? Would you like for that, even people that know you, and would you like for what you do, whether it's fitness, I guess I should rephrase the question, whether it's interior design, fitness, whatever, would you like everything that you do to inspire people that you come across?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
hope so.
Okay.
Especially fitness.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool beans. Why you put especially fitness?
hmm
Why especially fitness?
I just feel like with fitness, you can motivate people in different ways, motivate people to, just get moving and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
with interior design, I feel like it's not going to make much of an impact, if people don't have, an eye for design, or they're not really interested in that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. I understand, man. But yeah, no. I just wanted to talk to you, man. I know this was like an interview style, but in a way, like I wanted to, just catch up with you, and things of that nature, and what you've been up to. But yeah, are you still in? Well, I won't even ask that question over recording, because you don't need unwanted visitors, just things of that nature.
Oh
But
my God.
yeah, I just wanted to have you on. I appreciate you for being on here today. And if
Yeah,
there
of
were like
course.
there was an audience behind me, we give you a whole round of applause, because I'm gonna give you your flowers, man. I have to do that. But no, what you do on a daily basis, it's not going unnoticed. I'm proud of you, and you're doing it. You're doing the dang thing. So I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate you for being on. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we end this recording?
No, not really. Thanks for having me.
No problem. No problem. You're more than welcome on this show anytime you want. If you say, "Hey Cam, I need to get some stuff off my chest," if you want to rant about something, yo, I would probably have to get your consent regarding if I could post it on Instagram or not. But listen, you can come on the show anytime you want, and I appreciate you. You're her. I just wanted to let you know that you're her. So
Thank you.
no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this recording. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Be on the lookout for more updates and more info from me. Y'all stay safe. Have a good weekend. God bless you. Go Ravens. Love. All right.